about the foundations that can strengthen our faith, strengthen our church, and strengthen the future we're building together. I'll do three things as we come together to talk about specifics within this kind of what we're going to clarify and hopefully understand, and that is strategy, vision, and planning. Strategy, vision, and planning. And I want you to know why. If I cast a vision for you, but you don't understand the strategy, the vision won't make any sense. It will seem something impossible or unlikely to happen. I want to share with you the strategy based on what I've seen, what I know from my previous experience in other churches, helping them to find growth in times of decline and turn things around and find a healthier, more vibrant kind of system for sustainability, and then kind of share that with you so you see what I'm seeing and why we may want to do some of these things. But the thing about strategy that's kind of odd is strategy is not guaranteed, right? There are levers we're going to push to see what can happen, but there is no actual guarantee of outcomes. This is a bit different and a bit challenging for us. Things that we once assumed about our world are very different than they were in the past. So we're going to do some things because I personally believe that doing things the right way, the right things the right way for the right reason, are worth the journey, whether the outcomes change or not. Okay? Why we do what we do is as important as what we do. According to like everything in Matthew or Jesus, right? Doing a Bible study on Matthew right now. But I thought before I dive off into strategy, and oh friends, I'm ready to talk strategy with you. I've been passionately waiting for 18 months to kind of embark on this journey and hold up a mirror. I want to show you some of the pieces, right? Because you don't even know what a knight is, or what a pawn is, or a rook. I'm talking chess for those who don't know. Or if we're playing checkers, it really matters as to what we're going to do. So I just want to be, clear about these things. We have some things that are here that are pretty awesome, and I want you to get to know these things, and I hope you're as excited about them as I am. One is that if we go to the next slide, we've got a kind of a vision statement that's already here. Oh, one more slide. That CLUMC exists to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. Okay, we don't exist for any other reason. There are other things that happen because we exist that bless us and bless others. But our reason for being is Jesus, and for Jesus is intention or will for the world. And so our goal is to get in alignment with that. I'm also going to boldly assert, but I might as well just kind of get it out there for you now. If you don't believe that Clear Lake United Methodist Church is the best possible place to be a follower of Jesus and to live fully into your faith, to make a difference in the world, to be blessed in your work, and to have things, if it's not absolutely the best, then God help you. Let's work to make it that way. What else are we doing? It's us. We have a lot of groups here who think Clear Lake United Methodist Church is them. But it's us. Let's make this the best place in this time and in this place to be followers of Jesus. Full stop. That's what this morning's all about. We have for that end a great mission statement. In the next slide, we have a great discipleship pathway. This isn't something new, this is something old, these are things that are here. The journey from, what is a discipleship pathway is a question I get asked. It's the journey from encountering Jesus to sharing Jesus with the world. And do you all know the language of it? Who knows what our pathway is? Can you just say it?
No Jesus.
Okay, so next year y'all are going to do better at that, right? All right, you're going to be able to say it. But go to the next slide, right? It's not hard to memorize. You meet Jesus. You get to know Jesus. and you share Jesus. It's like the coolest thing ever. It's just really a simple pathway. But it's important. A lot of churches don't have clarity around what they're doing. We already have some clarity, it's just nobody knows it. It's clear as a bell. We just have to move it from being something out there into something in here that we do and we live out. All right, the next part I want to show you, next slide, is we're blessed to be part of the United Methodist Church. I am a United Methodist. I love being a United Methodist. I have been since I was a young child. I will be until the day I die. God help us. It's grace for real life, faith that becomes love, discipleship and mission together, holiness of heart and life held together. It is living out who we are. It is a faith that resists being categorized by the politically caustic times we live in. People always ask me, are we a liberal church or a conservative church or that? As if they want to define Jesus by our politics. That's insane. That's sin. Shame. We want to define who we are based on Jesus and nothing else. And guess what, friends? That gets me in a lot of trouble. Because I'm really good friends with a lot of people who some of you would think are really crazy conservative. And I love them. I'm not going to stop because you hate their politics. I'm really good friends with a lot of people you would consider crazy liberal. You're like, Brad, why do you even like them? And guess what, friends? I'm not going to stop loving them because you don't like their politics. That puts me in odd company from time to time. But the calling of the church and the great thing about the United Methodist Church is you get to be on Jesus' side and see what that really means in your life. So we aren't trying to bring forward partisanness. This is the silliness that's gotten us into the weird place we're in today. We're trying to bring forward a love of Jesus that means we can't be silent when members of ours are being detained. That we won't shut up when people aren't following the laws of the land. And when people are being cruel to other people. That doesn't make me somehow a liberal. That makes me human. That makes me a decent person following Jesus. Okay? And I could list a lot of things. And you know what? On some of them, you're going to agree with me. And on some of them, you're not. But if you want a pastor that's going to love Jesus and love you anyway, that's where we're headed. Because we need to be a church that does that. If we want to be a church that thrives, we've got to love a lot of people whom we disagree with. The UMC is such a church like that. Oh, sorry, I keep pointing over there. I'm used to go back real quick before we get there. I do want to show you just some basics here. How the UMC is organized. First of all, our primary task as a local church is reaching the mission field. Then our next kind of thing, that is the local church. That's what we do. We make disciples of Jesus Christ, actually at the local church level. We then are part of an annual conference. So us and a couple hundred of other churches across Texas. In Texas, there are actually 5 annual conferences. We're one of them. We're one of the larger ones. And here we have, I think is it after the numbers, I think it's like 243, 250. Is that about right, Curtis?
I thought it was a little less than that, but yes.
Yes, okay, so a couple hundred and then some. And then that's what we are as an annual conference. Then that annual conference is part of a jurisdiction. So we're kind of gathered with kind of the Bible Belt, or what's called the South Central jurisdiction. It runs from Texas all the way up through the middle states to Kansas, Nebraska, all the way up to the Canadian border up there. So all the way up north through the Great Plains. And then that jurisdiction is part of the broader United Methodist Church. This is where we have our general conference that gathers people every 4 years from around the world to kind of be the church. But I want you to know we are part of something wonderful. And when we talk about social principles, those are kind of articulated and worked out at our church-wide level. We're spending time kind of learning what they are and why. And then we try to kind of operationalize those at the local level. So that's kind of the organizational structure for those who might not know. We are a connected church. Some people are going to hear the word from time to time that we're part of a district, which we are. It's a circle not on here because in the book of discipline, in some places districts exist and in some places they don't. So for us, we have a district that's between us and the annual conference, but we all participate as churches in the annual conference, but we're organized under a district superintendent who helps with the supervision. So why does this all matter? Let me just give you a couple of examples. One, in the United Methodist Church, there is oversight from the people of the church, in our case from a district, and also from a conference. As an elder, I'm supervised and I have given oversight and have oversight of others in a way that there are all these checks and balances. I'm not going to try to say anything bad about any other denomination or church because I think that's just wrong. I just want to say, you may have read in the paper about some craziness going on in different churches and different things happening with monies, as an example, or to people. Part of the way that's avoided is by having good checks and balances that ensure that those things can't happen at the local church because we're being supervised. I just got done with an annual report, and guess what? It's exhaustive. It lists everything, and it has to account and add up, or there's some sort of investigation or something that happens. So these things are different, than not all churches are created the same on that. And so it's an important thing. Here at the local church, I want you to know how we're organized. Again, all of this organization is here. Like, these aren't things I may be introducing the concept to you for the first time, but I just want you to know, like, these aren't new. This is what it means to be kind of a United Methodist Church. This next slide shows us here at Clear Lake United Methodist Church. Every one of you are on that paper. Some of you are on that paper 3, 4, 5, 6. How many are there? You know, almost 8 times. Right, you're involved. So everyone fits into something. All of us are part of the church conference when it's called. That's the annual meeting of the church where we give oversight to whether it's elected officials or doing different things that the Book of Discipline reserves, where only the whole church gathered can act, selling the property, building of buildings. If it passes a certain percentage, it has to go that way. The other thing too, I mean, it's not in our case, but a church can't be closed by somebody else in our denomination. They can in others, but in ours, the only way a church can close is if the local church votes it to be closed. So kind of interesting. Leadership Council. How many of you are on the Leadership Council? Would our Leadership Council members just stand up if they're able to do so? Yeah, these people here, I just want you to know kind of who they are and where they are. Why don't we show them some appreciation? Eric, you're doing a lot of work this year. And we're so excited, especially with Quade Fritz being our youth representative this year. We've had some good ones, and we're looking forward to all he's going to bring to us in the years ahead. We have ministry and outreach groups. Do I have any UN men here? Yeah, we got a few of them represented. Yay! Let's thank God for them. And our UN women are looking forward to a retreat. And again, I remember somebody was talking about it's supposed to be good weather, and I always just have to remind people, guys, I'm in sales, not operations. All right, so don't blame any weather on me, but we're happy about the weather. Why don't the UN women who are here stand up and let's thank them for the many work they do. There's so many. We have a mission and outreach committee that does great work both around the world and here locally. Why don't y'all stand up and be recognized? There's mission and outreach committee. I mean, I could literally go around the room and list every group. How many of y'all stitch things and give them away? I know Patsy's over here to make a difference. I mean, it's just really cool. I mean, when was the last time you just surfed our website and just saw all the awesome things y'all are doing in the world? I mean, who's working on the community hub? There's some people here that are helping that nonprofit get started as well. Right? We've got Rick, we've got Karen. All these things are incredible that are happening. It's just a lot of amazing things. How many of you have served on a committee on this one? Just raise your hand. If we all stood up, everybody would be, yeah, you've been called on a committee. How many people said yes when Pastor Brad called? Anybody? You just didn't know that nominations committee was calling on my behalf, right? Don't forget that. Your friends are being put up to try to get you to be involved. That's on purpose. What about the strategic challenges, all staff gatherings? These are events that we have where we bring together. If you're on staff, why don't you stand up to be recognized and thanked? And then we've got all kinds of project teams. One of the things we've started doing this year in the last 18 months or so is as I arrived, one of the strategic challenges that was identified was really some challenges with communication. So what we've done is whenever we're taking on kind of a new task or an event, we try to get a group of staff together to kind of be a task force or team to work on the project together so we have more buy-in, and many of the staff have served in that role. Before I go much further, we had a prayer to open. I also took time to thank you for being here. One of the things I maybe didn't point out enough in that beginning was events like this don't happen without a lot of people doing really good work to make them happen. So we had a task force or team, one of these project teams working on today. If you were part of that group, would you stand and be recognized and thanked for today? And then David Allen had to work on the team because he had a pre-planned vacation before he knew this was scheduled on this date. So he was on the team, but he is working for us in absentia. Just letting you know. But it's just kind of amazing. And then our directing staff, are you familiar with that term? Some of you are, maybe some of you aren't. Our directing staff is a group of people made up of myself, the senior pastor, Curtis Mathis, the executive pastor, and then Jody Griggs, our business administrator. Back over there in the corner. She sits close to the door because occasionally she's having to run out and do something and then come back in and then run out and do something. So I just want you to make sure that you see how everything is there on the whole. Now, I will point out to you something. You don't see a lot of lines between these things because they aren't. They're instead, think of them as being more connected and worked on between things. And that some of what the council will be working on a little bit later this afternoon is something we began kind of last year. We're working toward it. If we'll go to the next slide, is this kind of challenge. Oversight and accountability versus management and implementation. And we have adopted a simplified accounting structure. Y'all actually did that right before Hurricane Harvey. Is that right? The right one? I don't remember the right one. And apparently it never got signed. So this year, many years later, we signed it, which was what we did after our church council meeting. But what I want you to see is that there is oversight and accountability by the church conference or the charge conference. And when they're not in session, because it tends to be an annual or special called meeting, the leadership council gives that. If you are used to a United Methodist church that was in the old formula and had lots of different committees, that is not how this church is organized. The Book of Discipline changed how a church could be organized, and this church is organized differently. It is organized where oversight and accountability are held on the left, management and implementation operationally is over on the right. Okay? And I just want you to be aware of that, because the majority of kind of little, I would just say, edge issues have been because people misunderstand that. There's some really good reasons why it exists this way and why y'all moved this way. But remember, I don't want to be held accountable for what y'all did before I got here. Okay? I'm just telling you what you are. Right? I haven't even started talking about where we're going, other than the fact that we're actually going to love everybody. Amen? All right. Well, with that said, I want to show you something else. This is something, by the way, I love the accountable structure you have. I love the old structures too. So like, I don't have like some sort of preferred structure. If we love Jesus and do good work, we can do it out of anything. So we'll make that happen. But I am proud and excited about all these things, being part of the United Methodist Church, being part of a great mission statement that we have as a local church, having a pathway of clarity and stuff. But what I'm most excited, what gets me up out of the bed in the morning and happy to come to work, is your staff. You have an amazing group of people who give up their life every day, and sometimes they aren't treated like it. I mean, sometimes they're dealing with people who say they follow Jesus, but you know how they have this kind of name about somebody is something in name only? Some people are Christian in name only, it seems, because the way they treat their staff isn't what it could be. But you have staff that loves Jesus and is doing great work. Let's put their picture up here, the next slide. It's kind of small because there's a lot of them, but it's a great team. So I'm proud of each one. This is an org chart here that I'm there. But what I'm going to ask is, starting. Let's start on. I might as well just go left to right across there for my reports. I'm going to call on Curtis and Jody later. They'll introduce you to people that report to them. But I'm going to ask Rachel LeMay to lead us off. I see her as the next person on the chart. So Rachel has an elevator speech. And if you'll come up here and take the mic. And then the next staff person after her will be Karen, and then Sheila, and then Amy, and then David is in absentia, and then John, and then Denard. So that's how we'll go across there, and then we'll call on Curtis, and then we'll go down his chart. And so they're going to tell you a little bit about what they do at the church. So you get just a 1 to 2 minute, here's what they do. Thanks, Rachel.
Hi, I'm Pastor Rachel. I am a pastor of worship and hospitality. My primary goal is to make Markley and Brad's visions for worship a reality. So when we talk about our theme of foundations, my role is to make sure that those who are part of our existing foundation are fully engaged and fully empowered to work and continue to grow, and to expand our foundations to make us a more inviting and welcoming community. And that's sort of my primary goal for the coming year, is to work on making our worship experiences start from the second you get out of your door, and continue and be focused and pushing us in one singular direction, and to make sure that people are welcomed the second they shut their car door and that they're on this campus. And so for you guys, I'm just grateful for the grace that y'all given me in my first 6 months here, and for creating a place for me.
Hello, good morning. It's nice to see so many familiar faces. My name is Karen Norris. I am the Executive Director of Hub Community Ministries. You're probably familiar with a lot of the projects I'm already doing. We are about to have a pop-up bike fair and clothing giveaway. We're about to have our Books and Beyond book drive that you're probably familiar with. And in the summertime, we have a health fair that's for everybody in the community around here, right before school starts. I'm also working diligently with Rick Powers back here, our wonderful project manager for the community hub buildings. And these will also be for community outreach to help keep this community resilient and sustainable.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sheila Castellano, as many of you know. I am the pastor of Hispanic Ministries here at Clear Lake. Celebración was started going on 13 years this coming May. And my role here is not only to serve our Hispanic community, but to make sure that we are reaching out to our neighbors who are Hispanic. We started this year, this appointment year, we started the Backpack Buddy Initiative, and that is bringing weekend worth of breakfast and lunches to children at Brookwood Elementary. That is the school that we have partnered with, because that is where most of our Hispanic children in these neighboring apartments attend, because that is the bilingual program. And my role is not only to support the Hispanic ministries, but it's to support all the ministries here at the church. I've been blessed to be in this church for 25 years and part of the ministry of this church for the last 10. So thank you for all the ways in which you have helped to support Hispanic ministries, and I look forward to continue working with this church towards the growth and development of all of the ministry initiatives that we have in store for Celebración. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amy. I am the pastoral ministry assistant. I am the executive assistant to Brad, as well as putting activities on the calendar once they are approved. I handle things like the logistics for the memorials and coordinators and other duties as assigned.
Hey everybody, my name is John Hatfield. I'm the Director of Contemporary Worship, so that means that I am in charge of a lot of what happens here in the space. I curate our musical catalog for every liturgical season. I create these stage designs along with our team. And the easiest and best part of my job is working with a team of about 25 volunteers who graciously give of their time and talents to create a space of welcome and worship, and that's our contemporary band. We have a contemporary band that ranges in age from high school students to retirees. Steve, I can call you a retiree, is that fair? Okay. But it's an incredibly talented group of people who have consistently over the last, since its inception, given of their time and creativity to create a space of worship and welcome for everybody who attends the contemporary service. I'm deeply grateful for that group of people, and it's a joy to work with them every week, week in and week out. Thanks.
Hi, how are you? My name is Dinar. I work in communication. Usually I'm the one who is helping you to bring things, but that's not only my job. I have been here for 1 year, and I think we made really good working process. We sharpened the process, updated the website, and updated all these brochures. And I'm so excited about this year, because we have so many projects to do, and Brad and my colleagues, they have so many ideas, and we have so many projects too coming. And I want to thank our volunteers who is always helping us to streamline our communication process, and I am so excited about my team. Thank you.
And then, friends, I'm David Allen, and it's nice to meet you. David, as I mentioned earlier, had a trip already pre-planned. We're excited about the work he's doing for us as the Director of Music and Fine Arts. We're also very excited about the process. How many of you were on the search committee for that? I just want to show this. It was something we did that might have been a little bit different than had been done in the past, but I think it's just a great thing to get all of us involved together in selection. We're in the process of selecting a director of children's ministry, and again, we have people serving on that here. Who is serving on that group here? You'll see there's about 6 or 7 here. We've got about 15 people engaged in that process. We are looking toward a bright future, but one of the ways we're going to do that is by creating ways of collaboration where we all come together, and when a person arrives on the team, they're supported by about 15 to 20 people who will have to have been wrong to actually not succeed and do well, so it's exciting. Let me call up Curtis, and I'm going to have Curtis say a word about what he does, as well as then introduce his team. Or, cinema.
Can you let me go last? I was going to do a little blessing at the end.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. So he's going to go last. So in the meantime, hey, Markley. You're already up here ready to go. I had that memo, I just forgot.
Hey everybody, I'm Markley Rogers. According to this chart, I am lead pastor of the Space and Discipleship. As John was saying, we have a worship community over here in Wesley on Sunday mornings that is called the Space, where we emphasize hospitality and belonging. So we, as a collaborative team, design the liturgy and design worship each Sunday, intentionally curating a space where people can experience the risen Christ. With regard to discipleship, I do a lot of things. There is putting together small groups, equipping the small groups that already exist, leading classes, but all of it having the overarching emphasis of connecting our faith to the way that we live our lives. Because anybody can say, Lord, Lord, but if the way that we live our lives does not reflect the things that we say we believe, then we don't believe them. So I intentionally try to choose courses and resources and have conversations that lead people into deeper reflection about how their faith informs the way that they live.
Wonderful. And tell them about, you're going to school, right?
Yeah,
that's actually, you're a student pastor, so that's an important part.
I am a licensed local pastor that is a student, and I am in my final year of seminary at Perkins. I will graduate. I'm actually taking 4 classes because they have radically changed the curriculum and the mode by which I go to school. They didn't have a vote. So, I'm finishing up school, on track to be ordained as an elder. As I said, I'm currently a licensed local pastor. And then, when that is done, I will be done. And I'll just keep doing my job as usual, just there will be less school.
Amen. And then, Katie, yeah.
My name is Katie Ritchie. I am the interim director of family ministry, wearing many hats at the moment. Currently, I am responsible for organizing the programming for children and youth, but I would not be able to do this without Hannah. Stand up. I would not be able to do it without her. I am very proud to say I have several young people in this room. My excitement about this season is about injecting the energy of becoming part of the life of the church into our young people, helping them realize that they do have a place here, that they belong. They are part of the life of the church. And one of the biggest things that we have done so far is come up with a mission statement. So I would like to share that with you because it is guiding every single thing that we do, every lesson that we have, every opportunity that we take a hold of. So kids, can you please stand up? Maybe you too, you're not a kid, but stand up. We did not adopt this. We adopted it unanimously, and it is called Our Way of Being Together. This is not a rule book. It's how we try to show up for each other. 1, we belong together. We belong here. We don't have to earn our place. We don't have to be perfect. We matter because we're here. Number 2, we take care of each other. We notice when someone needs help. We clean up after ourselves. We treat our space like it matters because it does. Number 3, we try things even when we're nervous. Leadership isn't about having it all figured out. It's about showing up, trying, sometimes failing, learning, and trying again. Number 4, we listen to God, to ourselves, and to others. Questions are welcome, doubt is allowed, and growth takes time. Number 5, we share responsibility. Everyone leads in some way. Everyone helps someone else succeed. We don't do this alone. Number 6, we look for the good. We name courage when we see it, we celebrate growth, and we notice when something feels meaningful. Our mission is that this becomes a place where you feel trusted, capable, and deeply known, and when you learn how to care for others the same way. And this was adopted January 7th, 2026. And Quade was overseeing all of this in his leadership role over youth on Wednesday night. So to these kids, I will be bringing more with me next year. If you see them, please give them a hug. They will be leading us in VBS and in many more activities to come. So it's a new season. Thank you. Don't.
I can use this thing. Is that good enough? All right. Good morning. My name is Joan Robertson, and I'm the CLUMC librarian. My vision statement for 2026 is enrich the foundation of congregational spiritual lives by increasing awareness of library resources and encouraging new resource suggestions on areas of interest and need. But foundation is a lot more than just books, although we have over 14,000 books in our library, from studies of the Bible to Christian fiction to children's books. I wish to talk today about a few of my favorite things in the library for group or individual use that are not books. Easels for memorial pictures and easels for posters. Stands for display and maps for your studies. Podiums for talking and chats with your buddies. Globes of the world show the world in 3D. Building foundations of faith, you and me. Puzzles for children, both Bible and silly. Wooden arcs filled with pianos, Billy Dillies. Videos show kids the love of our God. Billboards tell stories of faith in the Lord. Archives that keep our past history alive. Past sermon CDs and Bethlehem archives. Family movies for all to enjoy. Building foundations of family time. When a class needs study DVDs or you need some help, you simply can come to me and I will try to find what can lead you to God. Thank you, and come back.
So if any of our choir members would make sure to give her name to David. We need to have that there. And additionally, I just want to say something. You men earlier, I mentioned they created the pastor's patio, but who is the librarian who goes, you know what? We could put a little library nook out there. I bet that would bless people and extend a dignity to everyone in the community. I mean, what a beautiful, just awesome. Thank you. Let's see, let's go. Hannah, I don't think we've called you yet. And we'll go Hannah, and then we'll go Jody, and then William, Vicky, Garrett.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I will not be singing. That's going to be so hard to follow up. I am currently the In-Run Family Ministries assistant. I wear a lot of hats. I'm currently still doing some of my old duties when I was hospitality host, and then I'm taking on a lot of new tasks, which are very fun and very exciting. I'm very, very excited to be working with youth more, and that is something I'm really looking forward for this year. So, thank you.
Hi, I'm Jenny Briggs, lately known as the Voiceless Wonder. I am the business administrator for the church, and I get the luxury of being a part of all of the things that happen in the church. I hope that we find that time, those monies, that time on the schedule, to be able to do all of those things, and I get the luxury of being a part of all of that and working with each person on staff as they start to create their world, to lay the foundation to make sure that this year does what we need it to do. William, bring it on, bud.
Hello, I'll try to make this quick. I don't have a singing part or anything either. But I'm the director of finance. I'm here to kind of help Jody out when it comes to finance stuff. Let's see what else. All the deposits, I'm your money man, pretty much. So if y'all have any questions, your check requests, reimbursements, you need to borrow a credit card for one of the groups or something like that, come see me, okay? I'll also help with the financial statements and stuff whenever we do that quarterly and whatnot. So if y'all have any questions or anything, my door's always open, so come and ask, okay? Oh, quickly, okay, so we are switching over to, so I'll be helping converting our financial systems over into QuickBooks Online, which is going to kind of modernize our financials, make it a lot easier to read and whatnot, so digitalize a lot of stuff. We're trying to get away from the paper.
Yay.
So. Wish me luck.
And Will is kind of underselling a little bit of what he's doing too. He's helping us to develop better written processes and internal controls. And for those who know, you know what that means. And we're excited about all the work he's doing there to help Jody in that task and to move us forward. Moving to QuickBooks, the more standard CPA software, is a much better thing for us long run. So thank you, Will. Thank you. The next person that we're going to have come up here then and talk after Will is Vicky, our preschool, which is amazing. And Vicky, come on down. Vicky even allows me occasionally to teach and do the little bit of do chapel time, which is one of my favorite things. And she's also worked with me well too to ensure that every time we are having a school event, I'm able to offer a blessing or say a word of encouragement to parents. You know, many of them have a church home and some of them are not here, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't reach out to the ones who don't to let them know we love them and that they have a place here.
And our kids love it when you do chapel, by the way. Hello, I am Vicki, and I'm the preschool director. Simplified, that's it, I run the preschool. Breaking it down, that could be anything from cleaning up messes to working with Texas Workforce Commission. My daily focus is to nurture those sweet babies, make sure they get a solid early education, because I am passionate about that. Make sure they feel loved and they love God. My long-term focus is to continue to grow the preschool, taking us from comfortable to dynamic. Now, what does that mean? This preschool at Clear Lake United Methodist has always been amazing, and that is not a doubt. But in the coming year, our new path is to continue to grow our full-time enrollment. Currently, we have 32 full-time students, and when we first started out, we had 14. That doesn't include our half-day students. We want to achieve a 4-star status with Texas Rising Star, acquire more Texas Workforce Subsidy students, which is currently paused, but pray that it opens soon. On top of our wonderful growth that's taking place in our classrooms, Texas Rising Star has enabled our teachers to obtain scholarships for continuing education. So far, 4 of our teachers have applied for and received scholarships. talk about growth and transformation. We have also started 2 Bible studies with teachers in the past 6 months. It is my firm and solid belief that God wants us to evolve and use all of the gifts He has bestowed upon us. And I believe that Clear Lake United Methodist Church's preschool is doing just that.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Truth to lie, I'm a behind-the-scenes person, so I just love standing up here in front of you. I'm Garrett Tegens. I'm the Director of AV and IT Technologies. I manage worship services, funerals, any events, 55 and better, Yoga W, UMM, special events. Weekly tasks are managing IT things here and there, and AV equipment failures, as well as I have a small volunteer staff. I don't see Will, but I do see Ben, who might as well be on staff with how regular and solid of volunteers as they are. Also, part of my job is to support the success of my colleagues as well in whatever they're trying to achieve. Which leads me to the next thing is my vision for the upcoming year. I'd like to build a bigger volunteer base so I can relieve some of the strain on those volunteers that are constantly with us every Sunday working. So I love what I do, and I appreciate the opportunity to do it. Chris.
Oh, Chris, oh, you're
Morning, my name is Christian Funes. I am the media technician here at CLUMC. I've been here for 3 years, but I originally was a part-time. And so this past October, I was brought on to be on staff, and I'm very grateful for the directing staff giving me that opportunity. And so my role here is to help out Garrett in any way possible. He has so many responsibilities, and so I came on here to really help him out. With whatever I can, whether it's running sound for Sunday services, creating the slides for Sunday services as well, as also as being the camera operator for the live streams as well. So I help out wherever I can. I'm very grateful to be here, and so if y'all see me running around, then there's Chris. So y'all can wave at me, say hello.
I didn't want to skip over you in the school. Did you have something you wanted to say, or you just want to introduce yourself? Yeah, come on up. Yeah. Don't want to miss out. And then I saw Mike, he went to go fix something, so he'll be back in a moment.
Hi, my name is Maria Cantu, but I go by Minnie. I'm the assistant director for our preschool. My role is to teach our students to love God, educate them, and to be polite and loving individuals. In this new season, I focus on helping our church find new ways for families to be part of its activities and strengthen their faith through our church. As the assistant director, I oversee daily preschool operations and provide leadership and guidance to my staff. I assist the director and teachers to ensure their day runs smoothly. I ensure that the preschool is meeting minimum standards and Texas Rising Star requirements to provide a high-quality preschool. Also make sure I cheer on my teachers and students to ensure that Our environment is a wonderful place to learn and work. I ensure that families feel welcome as soon as they step into our preschool. My job is also to provide an inclusive and nurturing environment for our children, staff, and families. Also, my job as an assistant director is very fast-paced, very fast-paced. Every day is an adventure, and I learn something new each day. Right, Garrett? My vision for the preschool is for it to be a high-quality school and become a 4-star Texas Rising Star. I want to keep growing the enrollment so that students can receive a high-quality education and to grow and love God and Jesus. I love working here at Clear Lake United Methodist Church and the preschool and being part of this wonderful church and working with dedicated co-workers and leadership that y'all provide here.
Wonderful. And then looking up here for people here, Chidi? Yep. He's filming right now, so this will be funny. So we're going to break the fourth wall. Come on. Out here in front. Here you go, Chidi.
All right. My name is Chidi Nora. I don't wear a lot of hats, but I do wear a lot of jackets. So I'm the communications assistant. I've been working here for about 3 years now. Largely what I do at this point is I make the bulletins every week. I put out the newsletter every week that you guys get through emails. I update the lecture sign, which is kind of missing a couple spaces of the slides right now, but we'll get that just later. And yeah, when it comes to like the bulletin covers, I design the bulletin covers. When it comes to social media, I put out social media posts every week, so on and so forth. So it's a lot of like what you guys are doing here at the church. Myself and an art are responsible for getting the word out so that way people will actually show up.
We've also done a lot with our videos, so if you watch anything on our YouTube channel, it has probably gone across Chidi's desk. I'm looking at some other things on here. I'm going to call on Curtis in just a minute to bring us home, but I was noticing, Dan Miner is not here today. He is part-time as our organist, but let's show Dan our love. He does a great job and work with accompanying all kinds of various things and practices. And then I see some other little things there. I did have somebody ask a question. Who is the Sunday school superintendent? Right now, that function goes into Katie Ritchie. I don't know that we have a lay officer who is responsible for that, but that is something we're looking into and getting arranged and coordinated. And then who is youth pastor? We have a director of youth ministry role. What we did a while back, and this again is all before I got here, we moved all of that into the family ministries role, but in the new year we're going to have a specific director of youth ministries, and that role will be held by Katie Ritchie, who you heard from earlier. And then the director of youth ministry role children's ministry role is yet to be hired. But we'll take that up as that's available. But I will be talking a little bit more about that later, but I just want to give you those answers. Are there other questions? You heard from a lot of staff, and Curtis is going to bring us a blessing and a close of this section. Well, what we're going to do is, Curtis, come on up, and then you'll just hand me back the mic, and we'll go from there.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
If any of you were at the selection or with the committee that we're having to search for a new children's director, you will know that I promised to wrap my introduction this morning with Markley beatboxing, but I thought I would let him off the hook, and I have been writing from time to time something, an art form called spoken word. Anybody familiar with it? And this is the first time I've ever tried to perform one, but I have written that, and I hope that I think you heard some of the little pieces of the pericope that Pastor put out there for us to use for our introduction. Hope you'll find some of those pieces in mine, but hidden maybe in a little bit of poetry. So it's the first time for me, so give me grace. Here it goes. My name is Curtis, and I stand in this community as a pastor shaped by grace, a guide for formation, a builder of systems that can help us care for every soul entrusted to this house. I hold the stories of our people, the weight of their joys, the tremble of their grief, and I help weave them into the larger story God is telling here. I walk with our staff, helping gifts rise, helping clarity take root, helping our ministries breathe with purpose and intention, week by week, meeting by meeting, worship by worship. We are shaping something steady, something beautiful, and something true. And in this new season, I see a path unfolding, a path of deeper connection, of stronger care, of clearer communication, and a community that knows how to hold one another with courage and compassion. I see systems that serve us, not bind us. I see leaders equipped, not exhausted. I see worship that grounds us and formation that grows us into people who look more like love. So, as we step forward, hear this blessing. May the foundations we lay today become the pathways of grace tomorrow. May the work of our hands align with the hope in our hearts. May every plan, every prayer, every act of service draw us deeper into God's renewing light. And may we walk this new path together, steadily, grateful, and ready for the season that awaits us. Amen.
Amen.
Friends, what a blessing your team is. I noticed I didn't say, hi, I'm Brad Morgan. I'm sitting here by the bishop. I'm the senior pastor here, as were my other clergy colleagues. And I would say my role is just to love people into possibilities. That's what I do every day, all day long. Laura says I make people cry. They come and sit in the chairs there in my office and cheer up. But I promise I don't. It's the chairs. It's the chairs. But what we're trying to do is create safe places where people can authentically be themselves and find that they have more in common because of Jesus than they ever thought possible. And then live into that love that can bind them together, that can lift them up, and then help them follow Jesus in a meaningful way. Did I mention Clear Lake United Methodist Church is the best place in the world to be a follower of Jesus? Amen. And it's in large part because of the people and the staff. You have an amazing team assembled, and it's a joy for me to get to lead them, so thank you. I want to hear now from, wanted to invite Darlene Biggers, who's going to be the chair of our church council, to come forward and talk, and then we'll go from there. I wanted to invite her to do that, and then after that, let me just double check my slide. Yeah, cool. After that, we'll move forward. Thanks, Darlene.
Hello, everyone. I think many of you know me, but some do not. So I'd like to say a few words about who I am. I moved here in 1994 from the frozen tundras of Wisconsin and joined the church right away. I love being a part of Clear Lake United Methodist Church. I have been a part of the Single Navigators Sunday School class, and I'm now co-leading that with Gretchen Campbell. And also, I led a Monday night Bible study class for almost 15 years. I've been able to serve in different capacities for the church. One was under Pastor Vinson as a member of the Staff Parish Relations Committee. And that was the time when we had separate committees, SPR, Finance, Trustees, etc. So I've kind of been through different evolutions here of the council. Pastor Anderson came and started the one governance model, but I was not involved at that time, so really don't know how that worked. But then Pastor Preston asked me if I would serve on Leadership Council, and he started implementing the one governance model, and it was kind of a hybrid, I guess I would call it, because within the one committee model, there were subcommittees of trustees, finance, SPR. But last year and now this coming year, our goal is to try to transform it more completely into the model that is recommended. So it's less operational, like we won't be deciding which room gets painted first and what color. Right, Jody? But it is a more higher level operation. So I just wanted to read you from our statement, which is online. The primary responsibility of the Leadership Council is to protect and champion the church's mission, vision, core values, and connectional identity, as well as making significant ministry decisions and overseeing the administrative needs of the church. So we will be dealing more with why are we doing what we are doing? Is it furthering the mission of our church? Are we making disciples for the transformation of the world? Not on the nitty-gritty parts of the administrative duties, which now is more of the staff responsibilities. So being the chair this year of the Leadership Council, I thought it was appropriate that I talk about leadership, right? So I'm going to read to you, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. It's called Lessons from the Geese. Now, I don't know that the Audubon Society would totally agree with some of these statements that actually happens in nature, but I thought the principles were good for all of us to think about. Fact. The reason geese fly in a V formation is that the whole flock adds greater flying range than if each bird flew alone. As each goose flaps its wings, it creates an uplift for the birds that follow. Lesson. People who all know where they are going and have a sense of team will get where they are going quicker and easier. They are traveling on the consistency, trust, and assistance of one another. And that's part of our responsibility today, to let you know where we are and where we are going. So we are going in the same direction. Fact. Each goose knows immediately when he or she falls out of formation. It will suddenly feel the resistance and drag of flying solo. The goose will quickly move back into formation to take advantage of the lifting power of the bird immediately in front of it. Lesson. We all need to understand that we are in this together. If we all work together toward a common goal, we will be helped and we will be helping others. Fact. When the lead goose gets tired, as all leaders do, it will rotate backward into the formation and fall into place to take advantage of the lifting power of the bird immediately in front of it. Lesson. Everyone, all of you, will be a leader eventually. As with geese, people are interdependent on each other's skills, capabilities, and unique arrangement of gifts, talents, or resources. So Pastor Brad and I may have certain titles, right? And Pastor Curtis and Jody. But each one of you need to be a leader at one point or another. And I want you to think of not a title of leader, but when you are working in a group, when you are in a group of people, can you be a leader for the moment? Ask the right question. Give a source of information. Help someone else out. If you're doing that, you can be a leader, a very important leader at that particular time. So we're counting on all of you to be a leader at some time. Fact. The reason geese honk while flying in a formation is to encourage those up front to keep up their speed. Lesson. We need to make sure our honking is encouraging. The power of positive feedback is really amazing. So we expect I expect as chair of the Leadership Council to hear a lot of honking, right? In fact, when a goose gets sick, wounded, or shot down, 2 geese drop out of formation and follow it down to help and protect it. They stay with it until it dies or is able to fly again. Then they launch out with another formation or catch up with the flock. Lesson: if we have as much sense as geese, we will stand by each other in difficult times as well as when we are strong. So I look forward this year to being the chair of the Leadership Council and working with all of you as leaders to help us go where our mission and our vision directs us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, darling. This is the quotable for the day. Write this down if you didn't already. Make sure our honking is encouraging. Right? That's great. And my definition of encouraging may not be your definition of encouraging. Right? Well, as we keep going, let's go to the next slide. Right? Because that's a slide that says take a break. So we are going to take, and friends, it's going to be a 7.5-minute break. You have 7 minutes and 30 seconds. By my watch, that means that at 10:13, we will start in punto, on time. So let's come back together. We're going to go ahead and again. The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
All right, so a few more things. I see that Mike Sandoval is back in with us. And so, Mike, do you have your rap ready? If you don't know Mike, Mike is our facilities manager, does amazing work around the property, saves us lots of money through repairs and other things he's working on. So I'll let Mike talk a little bit about what he does.
Hello, how y'all doing? Well, I'm Mike Sandoval. I'm Mike Sandoval, facility manager here at Clear Lake United Methodist Church. I've been enjoying my time here for the past going on 4 years. I love it here with everyone. So nice. Everything going on here. Well, about me, man, got me off guard here. Yeah, I have to see you here. My role here, maintenance, all buildings, security, make sure everything is running smoothly on Sundays, setups, and etc. My focus is helping our church and our friends here, to make it better each and every day, every Sunday, every day. I enjoy it. This is my home away from home, so I do have luggage and change of clothes. But my vision for the future is to continue to assist Brad and everyone here in the congregation, and as y'all are family to me, and I love y'all, that's my obligation to the church and my service to the Lord.
Awesome. Do you have that or no? No, he's right. Now, Mike, I'm on campus all the time, and like a lot of people here, they see something that they either maybe it's not even broken. They just have a concern, a question about it. What should they do?
There's a work order that you can fill out online. That if you do see something on the property that needs attention, feel free to go online to the Clear Lake.
So do you mean to tell me if I see something, I could just, how many of y'all, anybody have a phone in their pocket? Yep. And I can hear them go off all the time while we're talking. They're here. I can just take a picture of it. I can go to clearlakemethodist.org/forms, and there's a form, and from my phone, I could fill it out. I don't have to go to the business administrator. I can wait till Monday after the early meeting we're doing that. I don't have to interrupt Pastor Brad right before he's going to give a sermon to say that the heat is 2 degrees too hot or too cold. I could actually fill that out. It would go straight to you, and based on the urgency they list, they would get a response. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Praise be to God. I just want to remind everybody that that's available to you, okay? Yes. Thanks, Mike, and thank you for the great work you do. Yes, appreciate it. Wonderful. As we're coming back, I want to kind of begin to walk through some things. I think we've kind of set the stage for where we are. You've seen the different pieces. Our kind of inclusion of more groups here is something that is a little bit new this year, not something y'all have a history of. Next year, don't you think that every one of our committees and boards should give a little part of the presentation and be called on just like staff? Don't you think that would be good? You do? I mean, that means y'all are going to have to work. You understand that? That's going to be you. Now, who's going to sing it? You get extra credit for doing that, but why don't we say that we're going to do that next year just by some applause? One of the groups that will be doing that will also be the new school board that we constituted this year to support the preschool. Something we didn't mention earlier, but I'm excited about that as well, and just want to put that forward. They would have fit in the board and agencies, but we haven't mentioned them yet. We've got some people to be cheering on all the good work that's going on in our preschool and to become advocates for the school in the church in a way that I think will be helpful to all involved. Okay? Wonderful. Well, as I've kind of been this last year looking, I want to highlight these are like the awesome things. The people of the church. Ginger and I were just talking about what a blessing that we've had with people showing up. How many of you showed up for a work day to come do something out and make a difference? And Ginger helped coordinate that with so many of you. Why don't we applaud for all those who've made our grounds so beautiful. There's a lot of great work going on that's going to continue. There are more dreams that we want to implement, and we're hoping that our systems, the way we're set up, empower these things and help them move forward. We have a lot to do, and it won't all be done in a day, but we've got some ways to move forward and begin that hard work of day in, day out, doing these things in a meaningful and transformational way for the whole church. How many of y'all are familiar with the book called Atomic Habits? Does anybody know that book just a little bit? That book, yeah, Laura raised her hand because I've talked about it way too much after reading it. It was kind of interesting. One of the parts of it looked at the British cycling team and asked the question, why are they always coming in last? And if you know anything about cycling, you know that they now always come in first. And so there was a person who went in and helped them transition, and so people wanted to know, how did they go? I mean, you've heard it, right? How many of y'all saw Indiana this year, right? I mean, last to first, like what happened, right? Well, it was one thing, wasn't it? They just got one thing right. Isn't that all you need to do? You get one thing right? Right? You get a hero quarterback, you're all good, right? Right? How did Troy Aikman do his first season at the Cowboys? By himself. It was Herschel Walker trade, right? Got it there. But even that wasn't the only thing. Right? If you want to do something meaningful that changes a group or group of people in a profoundly positive way, it's thousands of things. It is not one thing. I mean, humans work like this, that every little thing has to get just a little bit better. And if we each do our part in this, we know what our part is, we know what and why we're trying to do it, who we're doing this for, suddenly things begin to make a difference. So keep that in mind as I show you these next couple of slides, because they're pretty bleak. But I'm sharing this, do not share this yet, sorry. I'll tell you when, just change slide. You're getting ahead. I want you to talk a little bit more before we dive into strategies just about where we are. I don't bring this up as anything other than a quick overview, okay? I want to show you some slides that are bleak, but I'm showing them to you for a reason. This isn't about guilt. This isn't about blaming anyone. This isn't about pointing fingers at the past. In fact, I want to show you these slides because it shows that no one person or one thing is why we are where we are today. But it is about telling the truth so we know where we are and we can move forward with wisdom. The next slide shows you something that you know to be true, as many of you have lived through it and experienced it. But here is some actual data to go with what you've experienced and described to me since I've been here. Here's what we can see clearly. And now, if you'll put that slide up for me. Worship attendance at Clear Lake United Methodist Church has been declining steadily over a long period of time and consistently since 2004. Some people see a little occasional bubble there as the pandemic approached, but the truth is if you set it out a decade further where we are now and act like the pandemic was an accelerator, you would see that we would have continued the decline till we are where we are right now. In some ways, we've been blessed to have to realize and address some of our existential realities before the operational funding has been taken away. So by having an accelerated decline, in some ways we're in a better spot because we know we need to do things differently. I hope no one thinks that this output or result would be what you would want. Right? Because each person represented there is a soul that's learning about and growing from a relationship with Jesus Christ. You wouldn't want that to decline, would you? But this didn't happen overnight. This wasn't one bad decision, one pastor that you don't like, one staff member's fault. In fact, it was a sustained trend over 20 years. That's 2 decades. Okay? We need a new strategy. Next slide. This shows generosity. And before we're saying, well, the decline in churches everywhere, isn't our trend line matching the trend line in the broader USA? That is correct, it is. But before we just say, well, that's going on everywhere, or we blame other people, I want to name something important. These patterns took years to form. Churches don't decline in a month. They drift over decades. 2 in this case. As we look at this slide, I'm kind of relieved, right? The generosity is not declining as fast as the attendance, right? That's a good thing, unless you adjust it to inflation. I didn't do that for you, I just thought it would scare everybody. But I want to paint where we are in a clear and compelling way, because I believe that we have about 24 months to try to do some things to get the church into a pattern of growth that will then have a long-term existential future that is sustainable and will actually make a difference in a profoundly positive way. So let's have our cautionary note. Next slide. These patterns took years to form. They will take sustained faithfulness to change. But they can change.
Amen.
And because that's true, they won't be reversed in an instant. There isn't one program, one sermon series, even my good Bible study on Wednesdays that everyone should come to, or the beautiful chapel service, or not chapel service, service we have in here, Wesley Hall on Thursday evenings. It's amazing. But no one thing, one staff hire, one capital project just magically fixes it. It's all of us together doing thousands of things. Talking good about our church, speaking up what God's doing. Loving the past and who it's made us, but yearning for and hoping that God might do it again, because the future will feel like the past, but it will be different. It will be something new. It will be something wonderful that will enliven and bless people over time. But I'm going to want to move out of strategy and get into vision, so I need to stay in strategy for just a moment. But here's the hopeful part. What took years to drift can be strengthened over time if we choose. So I want to ask you, when I did that end of year report and I put in all the numbers for 25, it was almost flat with 24. And I couldn't help but ask, is this a turning point or a pause? Are we stabilizing or still declining? Is this an opportunity for change? So here's the question I want us to kind of wrestle with. Is 2025 a beginning of a turning point in 26 or just a pause? Because when I look at 25 compared to 24, it's almost the same. It could be the beginning of a U shape. But like a lot of the Aggies, I don't like University of Miami, right? I can't take that. SMU did beat them, by the way. My son was very happy about that. But it could be a fair step where we level off for a moment and then take another step down, right? It could just be a stair step on our way down. But friends, I want us to build the kind of church that makes a U possible, whether or not we're in that or not. That's why we need a different strategy, not just a different show. A strategy that doesn't try to attract people for an hour on Sunday mornings, but forms people to follow Jesus in the whole of life. Because when discipleship strengthens, everything strengthens. Worship, generosity, service, community, mission, everything. So this isn't despair when I look at these charts. It's clarity about where we are. And clarity is a gift because it tells us what time we're in. We could go on for years with no need to act, but we know what time it is, and that we need to act now and do some things different. So let's talk a little bit about strategy. Let's go to the next slide. Because I believe this different strategy can change the future of Clear Lake United Methodist Church in a way that keeps it feeling a lot like it did in the past, while helping it embrace a new future that will be a blessing to our community and the world. As we jump in, let's be clear, strategy isn't just a list of tactics. I'm not going to describe to you how we're fighting every battle. I'm going to outline hopefully some principles that will be useful in every battle. Strategy is a theory about what works, what actually changes things. And the church has to decide if what we believe about God and Jesus really changes things. And then if it does, we have to live like it. We have to act like it. We have to embody it. We have to be it. So let me tell you kind of what I've seen in my ministry changes things. Vibrant and dynamic worship, powerful youth and children's ministries, and very amazing mission and outreach that get people actually being the hands and feet of Christ in the world. And if we do those three things with excellence and well, the strategy in our hearts will change everything. But when I say excellence and well, I might mean it differently than you do. You might have in mind butts and seats. I don't care how many people show up. The last time I'm going to look at a slide about where we are other than to help make management decisions was right then. I don't care if we have 10 or 100. If we have 10 faithful or 100 faithful, I'll be happy. You see the difference? I want us to move to a place where we're being faithful. What actually changes things in the different strategy is something y'all have always already been at your best, so I hope I'm just holding a mirror back up to what y'all have told me, not just telling you something brand new. But the strategy isn't just about if we want to get 1,000 people to show up, let's get a Ford pickup truck, somebody buy me an F-150, we'll put it out here in the parking lot, and whoever attends worship the most in the next year will give them the keys to it, right? Katie barred the door. Do you know how much those things are going for? Heck, even Mike would show up. He's always there. He's always there. That's what I'm thinking of. So let me tell you what I'm not talking about when we're talking about strategy. Maybe it will help come into focus. We're not trying to win by having a better show. We're not trying to grow by competing with other churches. We're all in the same business of winning souls for Jesus Christ. We're not measuring success by putting butts in seats alone, and we're not creating more religious consumers. Houston has enough of those. People who literally pick their church like they're buying a car. Amen? People who aren't actually doing what they say they believe. They're Christian in name only. Those aren't evil things, by the way, these other strategies. They just don't hold up or keep people in faith when real life happens. We believe the deepest change in a human life happens when ordinary people deliberately follow Jesus, not just on Sunday, but in every part of their life. When people become more like Jesus, they become better spouses, parents, friends, neighbors, co-workers, classmates, and Jesus, through them, changes the world. There are 3 layers to the strategy I believe in pursuing, and I'll be leading us into here at Clear Lake. The first layer of strategy is that Jesus changes people. Not behavior modification, not shame or you did something wrong. Jesus is more than the parent that told you you weren't good enough or you were bad, or the uncle that did or said awful things to you, or the teacher that was cruel. It's not willpower alone. No, we believe in a God who loves us so much that grace is real, forgiveness is real, healing is real, transformation is real. So the church should not just be a club for good people, although good people are welcome when they understand what the work of Jesus is. Instead, it is a hospital, a school, a training ground for anyone to learn and grow in the compassion of Jesus. The other day, on the way with 55 and better out to the Holocaust Museum, the bus came out of this parking lot and turned this way and then made a right down there. And as we did, I could see people who used to be hidden in the porticos or the cubbies of the church, sitting in chairs with dignity, charging their phones, reading a book with water and snacks. Is it any better than it used to be? Y'all helped people always. But dignity. People being treated like people, no matter who you are. Jesus changes people. Even me. Teaching me to have dignity and love for everyone. The second layer is that changed people change relationships. When Jesus changes someone, everything about them starts changing. The way they handle anger, money, time, purity, loyal, truth, courage, service. It's all different. I remember the story I shared with the Methodist men the other night about my grandfather. He was a very prominent layperson at Lakeview United Methodist Church in Port Arthur, Texas. Does anybody know that church, Port Arthur? Remember back in the day, it's a Buddhist temple now. So it's very different than it was when I was growing up there and heard my first call to ministry in that place. But there, I was honored and happy when a friend of mine asked me, "Hey Brad, I'm the pastor over at what's now First United Methodist Church in Port Arthur, where we brought all these other Port Arthur Methodist churches together in one church. Lakeview's part of that. They remember your grandfather. Would you come talk to them about something like just war theory and what St. Augustine in a paper I had written or something?" So it was something very kind of out there, but I thought, well, why don't I open up by sharing the blessing that church was to my grandfather. When they first got started, my grandfather and grandmother there in Port Arthur, their lives weren't the best. He was working in the refinery all day, and they were having some struggles in their marriage. And maybe occasionally, he just liked to drink a little bit on the weekends. Right? Not a bad guy, but that. And he got involved with a Methodist preacher who helped him make some different choices, really helped their marriage be strengthened, and because of that, change. My dad went to college, to the Army, and my family had a better life because of that Methodist preacher. When I told that to the people at this little church in Port Arthur, did I mention it's no longer a United Methodist Church or a church at all? It went away. They looked at me like I had shot their dog. Clifford once had a problem with the bottle? Oh no, say it ain't so. Because nobody in the church could ever have had anything wrong, right? When I visited that campus, they had signs everywhere that told you where you couldn't go and how you weren't welcome. Any wonder why they died? Any wonder? Again, changed people change relationships. My grandfather's change led to my family having a better life. When people are changed by Jesus, their relationships change. Marriages get steadier, friends get safer, kids are more blessed, families get stronger, friendships deepen, workplaces get more honest, neighborhoods get more compassionate. The change God gives followers of Jesus is unbelievable and visible. It is the why and how I have the life I do. The next is changed relationships change the world. The world doesn't change first through hashtags or speeches. It changes when enough people live differently together over time. That's how the kingdom spreads. One act of mercy, one courageous apology, one generous gift, one person refusing to be cruel, one family cared for, one neighbor not abandoned. The strategy, friends, let's be clear, is formation first, not attraction first. This is a really helpful contrast, I think. An attraction first strategy is all about getting them to come. It worries and laments about who's not here. Is this just a bunch of old people getting together? Where are the young folk? A formation first strategy is all about helping people become followers of Jesus. We don't care about their age, their station, who they are, or where they're from. We care about them becoming a follower of Jesus. To be clear, I'm not against inviting people, getting people there. I'm not against excellence in what we do. I live on those things. But instead of attraction as our goal, we want to be attractive because we have been faithfully formed. When I say attractive, I don't mean flashy. I mean compelling. I mean a place where grace is real, friendships are real, help is real, and purpose is real. People aren't starving for a show or entertainment. They're starving for a life. I'm just saying that the temptation is to be attraction-oriented, and when you are, the engine and motivation is different. We will be attractive because we are formational, not attractive instead of formation, and not formational instead of fellowship, but attractive through formation. We want people to come, of course we do, but our deepest commitment is not to entertain people into a crowd, but is to form disciples into a community, in fact, a community of communities. We are not trying to build a church that's merely bigger, we are trying to build a church that is deeper. And when whatever growth God gives, we will receive that with gratitude, not because we did something, but because of what God did. You know, I read the Bible quite often, and the last time I read it, nowhere in it does it seem to talk about the best leader being chosen, right? The last time God let that happen was Saul. In fact, the Bible is full of stories about people who were just like us. Moses couldn't talk. How many of y'all saw the Charlton Heston movie, The Ten Commandments? Right? Big and strong. That's not the Bible. The Bible talks about a guy who didn't want to go. He said, God, I can't talk. Send Aaron with me. And God said, well, okay. and sent him with them. And look at what God did with him. Faithfulness, not even competency, is what's elevated in Holy Scripture for leadership. Time and time again, this is what's important. I was blessed to serve on the committee of the episcopacy in the Texas Annual Conference. This is a committee that's kind of like the SPR for the bishop. Kind of weird, right? The bishop can send me to, at that time, Deadwood, Texas. More cows than Methodists. And you have to go through Louisiana to get there. All right, so, just a little bit of a difficult place, right? So, and so there's this a little bit of a power differential, but we're going into like what is needed to, in the next bishop. And we had some people that were talking about growth, and metrics-based, growth-based, and all that, which, given the decline, that's kind of a logical thing. But do you know the Bible actually talks about growth? It does. I mean, Paul in Corinthians writes to them, he says, I planted, Apollos, y'all remember the text? Apollos watered, and then the bishop reached down, grabbed the seed, broke it open to a plant, and made it into something wonderful because they're awesome, right? It says, who gave the growth? Oh, y'all heard of the text. God gave the growth. God gives the growth. When will we start having faith and living as our Bibles call us to? What we're betting on is that clarity of the foundation of faithfulness and deepening our why we do what we do will be blessed by God. So the only strategy I know is deeply investing in the things that actually form people. That means we're into worship that recenters our heart, not as performance, but as reorientation. Community, because we don't grow alone, because sin and sorrow isolate. Grace reconnects. Practices, habit, eats intention for breakfast. You understand the need for Bible study, hands-on mission and training, fellowship events, times to come together and to encourage one another, service and mission where faith becomes love, not earning points with God, but the overflow of the gospel. Generosity, because it breaks the grip of fear and uncertainty that characterize our modern lives. Because money is one of the deepest discipleship issues there is today. Nobody wakes up and accidentally runs a marathon. We got any runners here? Right? How many of you became runners by accident? No. Nobody wakes up and accidentally becomes a faithful husband, or a faithful wife, or a good grandmother, or a good aunt, or uncle, or grandfather, or a person of integrity, or a person of prayer, or a good co-worker. Those things are built slowly and intentionally on purpose, foundations. We're not going to be chasing church trends. We're strengthening what lasts. We're not going to be talking about the good old days or what used to be. We're going to quit pretending that all we have to do is offer something one more time again and people will now magically show up as they did in the past. Or that if we just started doing X, everything would be okay. It was 20 years of decline over a long period of time. We need 20 years of good work to move us forward. Instead, we will be challenged to be followers of Jesus together if we really take what Jesus says seriously. How will that impact how we live and the choices we've made? Our strategy begins with clarity. Here's the truth, friends. Clarity. I don't know if it'll get better or not. I don't know if it will work or not. All the effort we're doing may not produce the outcomes we desire, but it will be faithful. And whether we grow or decline, we'll be better followers of Jesus by being faithful. We have to become experts again in stating the value proposition. I told you earlier, I believe that Clear Lake United Methodist Church provides the best possible life together following Jesus. Amen? Amen. If not, we've got to fix that. That should be the lowest lying fruit we have. But I believe it is the best place to do that. There isn't some place better. I've been in lots of churches and seen things that make y'all look like a rose garden. This is amazing. But none of it is easy because following Jesus isn't easy. But we can do this together. We've got to get clear about why do we exist? What is our why? Not we run ministries or we do this and that, but we exist to help people. From the church language here before I arrived, it is wonderful. As Clear Lake UMC, we meet Jesus, know Jesus, share Jesus. Our strategy begins with discipleship and faithfulness, not just activity. We have an intentionality and an empowerment that allows people to be empowered in following Jesus. We'll have to answer the question, why this church? There are many good churches. We are not here to criticize them, and I don't want to speak badly about any other group. But every church has its particular calling. I hope these things I'm articulating are ours. CLUMC is distinct in a healthy way, I hope we can say. We provide a multi-generational and community-anchored place for people to follow Jesus. We're a place living into the compassion of God without bounds. We are a place of worship and study and care and fellowship and mission, serious about connecting and forming people with and for Jesus, not just entertaining consumers. And we are a United Methodist Church. It is our way of being Christian boldly. We reclaim being United Methodist with confidence. We believe grace is real and for real people. We take holiness seriously, but with mercy. We do not separate faith from life. And we want personal piety and social piety. We want all that we believe are promised in our social principles. And we make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. We are guided by the holy conversations we've had and the pathways to Christ. And now it is time for us to live in them fully. We are moving from talking about them to being the church. Faithfulness is our strategy. So next slide. Next slide. Here is our strategy simply stated. In 2026, we are strengthening foundations to empower faithfulness as we meet, know, and share Jesus. That's what we're called to do. Does it look familiar? You know, you've always been called to do that? Like, that's not new. I mean, like, I hope nobody's going, oh, wow, Pastor Brad, that's something new. No, it's what we've always been trying to do. We just let sometimes a lot of other stuff get in the way. Our strategy is not a new mission, it is a renewed foundation from which we hope to achieve the goals God is calling us to live into. Now, ready to talk a little bit about vision? Because if you got the strategy, the vision kind of makes more sense. Next slide. Let me say it one more way. We live in a world that trains all of us to think like consumers. Did I like it? Did it fit my preferences? Was it what I wanted? Did it tell me what I already think I believe based on my algorithm? And I feel that pull too. We all do. But the gospel trains us to think like disciples. Who am I becoming? Who is God calling me to love? What would faithfulness look like here? How many of you have heard of the golden rule? Anybody? Right, what's the golden rule?
Do unto others as you would have.
And do unto you, absolutely. Great. How many of you think that everybody else in the society knows the golden rule? Well, I mean, do you think they've heard of it? Yeah. Right. I mean, it seems like a good idea, right? I mean, so you know the golden rule, and they know the golden rule. How's it going? right? You know, my problem with the golden rule is simple. I do unto myself really well. And I've got to now do that way for others? Dang. How many people am I going to have to put up in nice hotels? Or feed good food? I mean, you see the problem with the rule? Yeah, I have high standards for the things I like. First, I think it's a beautiful kind of reminder of what we're called to that shapes everything we're about to talk to. Go to the next slide. Anybody love that picture? What I love about this picture, and I could have put others up there, but I just thought this was a touching moment. What I love about this picture the most is that every candle is something God did. When I look up out there now, I know the stories in each family. I know what's going on in each group. I understand how God is at work in people's lives and why that moment of being there was special to many of them. Each candle represents a transformation underway. And Clear Lake has always been more than a crowd. At our best, we've always been a church that shows up. We've always been a people who serve, who care, who carry one another, and who want our faith to matter in real life. Like I said, this is not something new. So when our strategy, I say our strategy is to be attractive because we are formational, I'm not talking about a plan on paper. I'm talking about building the kind of church that holds people up because life gets hard and helps people. We need to help people grow strong enough to hold up others too. And if we get this right, it won't just mean better programs or smoother Sunday mornings. It will mean people's lives are different. Families are steadier. Lonely people are not alone. Children grow up surrounded by strength, and neighbors who are struggling find a path toward dignity and stability. And the truth is, success won't be what people talk about when they talk about Clear Lake. Success will be that people thank God for what happened to them because we, Clear Lake United Methodist Church, were here. So let me paint a picture of what that kind of church looks like. Here's the vision, not just of a busy church, but a formed people, the kind of people who become more human, more alive to wonder, and more free to give. Next slide. Becoming more human. I see a church where people become more human because they practice hospitality and compassion until it becomes an instinct. We notice people. We make room. We show up. We refuse to look away. Hospitality is how we say you matter here. Compassion is how we say you don't carry this burden alone. We need to experience wonder and awe. I see a church where people recover wonder, where worship reminds us God is real and service reminds us love is possible. Not wonder because everything is easy, but wonder because God is present and we are part of something bigger than ourselves. Worship lifts our eyes. Service puts our hands to work. And sharing freely. I see a church where people share freely not because they're pressured, but because they're connected. Then the reason when you know you've received grace, you stop clutching everything so slightly. We open our hands, our time, our gifts, our resources, our attention, because we trust God and love people. Grace makes us grateful. Gratitude makes us generous. And then if we put that vision kind of all together, the foundations we're strengthening so far, you've heard some of this language throughout everything that we've said this morning. I see a church where people become more human because we practice hospitality and compassion until it becomes instinct. We notice people, we make room, we show up, and then someone is hurting. They don't have to carry it by themselves. I see a church where people recover wonder. In worship, we lift our eyes and remember that God is real, and in service, We put our hands to work and remember love is possible. We experience awe not because life is easy, but because we are a part of something bigger than ourselves, and we are always in awe and wonder when we notice what God has done. And I see at church when people share freely, not because they're pressured, but because they've been changed by grace. When you know something, you're connected to God and to one another. You stop clutching everything so tightly. You make a difference in the world around you. You spend your time, your money, and your effort changing things. That's the kind of church I believe God is forming at Clear Lake. That's a future worth building, I believe. And the future I want us to build together as a church, where people are able to meet Jesus, know Jesus, and share Jesus. So what we are building together, next slide. You see those rocks? That's a beach in Oregon. I stacked them myself. They weren't very much. Everybody's like, oh, I can do that too. Yeah, it was harder than it looks. What we're building forward, I want us I want us to be thinking of the church community. Let me try to maybe paint it another way, not so generically. I can see a child who we've never met yet, thanking God for the life she has had because of faithful people she's never known. But what we did here changed us, changed our relationships, and through that changed her life. I see a lot, by the way. A child who thanks God for the strengthening of their community, even if they don't know our name. A family in great loss who is carried, not just contacted. A person who is not alone because belonging became real. A neighbor moving off the street, unhoused to supported to stable. We are already living this out. We're not trying to be famous or to do something that other people pay attention to. We are trying to be faithful. We are building a there when it matters church. That we're a there when it matters church. Success is not that people talk about our church. Success is that people are not alone. If we want a child strengthened, we need belonging and practices. If we want families cared for, we need belonging and calling. If we want neighbors lifted up, we need depending and courage. And if we want a future, we need a faith formed in people like you. So, friends, that's what I've got for us today as far as what's a strategy, and then how does my vision fit because of the strategy I articulated for you. Okay? I'm very blessed to be here and to be with you, and so I now want you to move to a point of maybe some clarity and understanding. And where that's going to come out is I want to encourage you to, at your tables, to have a time together that amongst some people you know, and I hope everybody has at least somebody they don't know well at their table, even if they do know who they are, at least to be able to talk a little bit. And I want you to think, one, that just kind of do three things. If you would identify, and here I'm going to turn this back, I can use it right here. So what we're going to do is introduce yourself to people, and then second, talk about what your role at Clear Lake United Methodist Church is, and then how does it fit into the strategy or vision that we've cast. Does that make sense? So no. Hit the wrong one. Let's do this. So, what? All right, so this is
Here, you want this chair? Here. Bring it over here. Come on. Isn't that good?
Actually, Karen, on slides, can you go down to slide, actually go to the slide 28. No, not 28, a little further. Yeah, slide 29. I didn't put that in there. Good. What part of the foundation strategy most directly intersects with your role calling? So introduce yourself and then ask these two questions.